Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today I am going through my stash, having a bit of a look at, taking a bit of a recce of the things that I have, what I need to use up, what I need to move on, what I haven't been using, making sure that I make the most of the products that I have purchased. And I came across these rub-ons. These are the vintage scripts. These are black and the white of the vintage scripts rub-on. They're from scrapbook.com, and on these scrapbook.com products, they often have at least 50% off. So these are a really good deal. And I know I purchased them thinking that I could do some bits and pieces with them, but I wanted to also use up some other stuff I had in my stash. So I thought I would give you some ideas of how you can really simply use these. Scrapbook.com have a huge range of rub-ons. I will say, all sorts of words, all sorts of birthday parties, all sorts of different things. And they also come in silver and gold. And so I wanted to make sure I use these, but also give you some ideas of just how easy and beautiful these rub-ons can be. Of course, I love the idea that they have very little dimension. Of course, once they go on, they're completely flat and it doesn't add anything. So I am going to cut these apart. Now you get a couple of sheets. You also get a popsicle stick to, adhere them if you want to. These go on really nice and easy. I'm going to sort of go with the script and cut out, what looks like kind of one section to me. Of course, you could just use them on the sheet. You don't have to cut them out. I just never want to accidentally kind of ruin another part of the sheet or get it where I don't want it to be. And so that's why I prefer to cut them out. Now, as I said, these come with a popsicle stick, but I'm actually going to just use my bone folder. And then I have got this directly onto a card base, which makes it, couldn't make it any easier than going directly onto a card base. If you wanted to, of course, you could go ahead and put this on a card front and then, die cut it down or trim it down or leave it as is, all the good things. And I'm going to pop these on. You can see that this is just no effort at all. These are not rub-ons that you have to sort of, put in all the elbow grease and things. They just go on really nicely. I wanted these to be a bit of a rusticy look, bits and pieces here, there. And so I have got, just randomly sort of 3 places. I put in the top left-hand corner, middle right, and then bottom left-hand corner, and then a few other random pieces. Now, I've also played a little bit of roulette with my inking here. I have just picked up my 2 brushes, foam brushes. These are the oxide ones, the ones with the red around the handle. I use for my oxides, and I just use one for all the blues and one for all the greens. So I was playing a bit of a game of, I don't know what was on here last, so let's see. I do love that these rub-ons, they are all sort of separate words. They're not one big rub-on, if that makes sense. And so the ink is going to obviously get in between all of the words, which is cool. Then I wanted to show you with the white ones as well, because I had a couple of questions when I showed these about how on earth would you use white. And of course, you can either ink first and then do the rub-ons on top, and that way you're going to get a much more sort of seamless look. You're going to get the ink everywhere underneath, whereas if you do it this way, the rub-ons are going to sort of resist the ink, and again, they show up beautifully doing this as well. Again, I'm playing a bit of a game of, I don't know what color was last on these brushes, so we're just going with it. Again, these are my oxide ones, but essentially I'm using the red brush and I'm using the yellow brush, so, I'm guessing the yellow was probably a mustard seed and then maybe like a candied apple or something up the top. And I am just putting a bit of color on. Now, I didn't have anything to re-ink these brushes, so it was pretty much just a case of, it is what it is. But then I thought it was like a little bit too harsh around the edges that I've created there, so I did put some water. I sprayed some water on this and then dabbed up some of that color to sort of fade out a little bit nicer around the edges. Now, we are going to create all of these into cards, so, what's in the background is going to be the background, of course. I'm going to pop these aside. You can see these are both on white cardstock. I did want to do a bit of an experiment and see what they would look like on some black cardstock. And of course, I'm going to take the white and the black rub-ons to do this. Now, with the white rub-ons on the white background, you truly could not see the white, they almost became invisible. Even when you like move them around in the light, they don't create much sheen, I guess is the word I'm thinking of, whereas when I put them on the black here, you can kind of see the rub-on. I don't not like this effect, and I'm going to, as I said, make this into a card so that you can see where we can go from this. But it is like a little bit surprising, but then again, I quite like it. You know, we can work with this. Now, of course, there are also many companies out there that do rub-ons. There are absolutely so many companies, and I have come to really, really love using rub-ons in my card making. I think they are a fantastic tool, especially, I will link a few of the things down below, but as I said, scrapbook.com have really good discounts and sales on their branded product. Now, I purchase all of these items by myself. I don't get sent anything. I don't get paid for making videos. I don't, you know, I'm not in talks with them at all. I just purchase these products, and 50% off, if not more, sometimes they have up to 60, is just such a great deal for their rub-ons, and more importantly, they're good quality, so that's the reason that I purchase them. And also, they also have so many freebies that you can add into your cart, which I absolutely love, and they are good stamp sets, die sets, rub-on sets, brushes, all the good things, so I appreciate that as a little extra. Now, some of the links down below are affiliate links to these shops, which helps me out, and I really do appreciate it when you use those. Of course, at no extra cost to you. It doesn't make a difference at all to the cost to you. But anywho, now we are getting into card making. A couple of things here. One, I am doing my own splatter just with a fine point pen, and this is a control issue in that I just like the way it looks. I get a very similar look as doing sort of, you know, proper splatter, but it's more controlled, and it's where I want it to be. Then out of a sign, out of this little set here, so I'm actually using the Stamperia. This is the garden adhesive paper die cuts, and I love this. They have this gold shimmer to them, but I have this sort of half packet, or probably only a third of a packet left, honestly, of die cuts that I have just not used. And so, as I said, I'm having a spring cleaner. It's nearly spring here in New Zealand, and so I like to have a good recce of everything I have and make sure that I'm using the products I've purchased. And so I found this pack and I thought, yep, this is going to go together. We can make this work, I'm sure. And so I had like a couple of word adhesive die cuts that I probably wouldn't have used, so that's what I created the branch out of. And I just, you know, got in there with a little pair of fussy cutting scissors and made a little branch. Then I'm going to tie up this little birdhouse to it. I punched a little hole in the top of it, and I will secure the birdhouse down. I don't want it, it won't sit nice enough without being secured down. And then, of course, a gorgeous little birdie in there too. Now, I am going to put sentiments on all of these, but I'm going to sort of batch make some of the cards and go through them, and then we will add the sentiments at the end. So this is this gorgeous dark on a black card base here, and this beautiful big flower. And when I was looking at this, I was like, I need to make one of these. I feel like I could make this. This would be a good scraps project. I think I could make that. But anyhow, that might just be another video. Let me know if you're keen on seeing that thought process on video. But anyhow, I am going to pop a couple of these really just, there's some extra little leaves and things, I think. They've actually got script on them and writing and all sorts. So I will just pop some of these down. But as I said, we're going to add some more elements soon. I'm just going through this pack and popping these down and using them up. We've created a gorgeous background here. This was the one that I wanted to try this on some blue, and you really can just see the white script here, which I love. Then I used a little postmark postage stamp die to cut out another layer. Pop some foam tape on the back. It's of the exact same blue, which is the Simon Says Stamp Sea Glass blue, and these are pre-scored cards. And so I have popped that on top, and then I'm going to add these little, we call these gum boots here, or wellies, and put these little set of boots with a couple of little flowers and little bits and pieces, and then of course a little birdie up the top, making sure that everything is supported nicely. I was having a lot of fun using up these gorgeous elements. This is a really gorgeous little ephemera set, I will say, and I think it was working in well with those extra background script. Now, the reason I love the script as a background is that it's just kind of, you know, background noise, and it can be for anything. It can be for any occasion. It can be a happy, a sad, a sympathy, a get well soon, a birthday, a celebration, a wedding. You know, script can be used for everything. So it is a very versatile rub-on or background stamp or whatever you invest in. It is a good one. Now, I had a few scraps here of leftover from the background, and so I thought I may as well add a few more on top as well, and then that is going to make the elements, the front focal elements, a lot more cohesive to the background. Then you guys have seen this one before. I have loved using this, and this is the Simple Stories, and it's just like a big sticker book. You can see it's got all sorts of alphabet, it's got typewriter keys, it's got sort of mini, you know, smaller strip sentiments, it's got larger ones, and for whatever reason I feel like I've been using this quite a bit. You can see there's some missing, but this seems to go on and have something for every occasion. So I was going to use this one up today. And I quite like that this has got some different sentiments rather than just your stock standard. And that's encouraging me to sort of go out of my comfort zone a little bit with sentiments. I often stick very plain, and I notice that when I do something a bit more different, that actually people grab for it out of my stash. So that probably tells me I need to, you know, go outside of the box a little bit more, but that's okay. I'll do that at my comfort level and just try and push myself every now and then. Now, this gorgeous one here, I was going to put it on the boots, but actually I thought it went better with the little bird and the little birdhouse, and it says, be your own kind of beautiful. And I really like that. The black splatter in the background goes nicely with it. For the blue one, this little one here, I like the little saying here. It was a big long strip, and it says, it's the little things. And I'm actually going to cut this up and put it just sort of randomly down the front there, and a little bit skew width on purpose, just because that makes life a whole lot easier. And I quite like that, with the little birdie sitting there and the little flowers on the boots. It's the little things. I quite like that, and so that one worked really nicely too. And then for this gorgeous sort of bold card, I knew I wanted to be, I knew what I wanted this one for, and so this is going to say create adventure. Now, I always just sort of pop these lightly down. I never press them down until I have everything exactly where I want it to go, and sometimes you need to trim up the edges just to make it, you know, even out a little bit, but I was really happy with this one too. So 3 really easy quick cards to create, using up some bits and pieces from my stash. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. As usual, the links will be down below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks, bye.